Everybody, Dr. Diane, your chronic illness expert here, talking today about brain inflammation and if it can cause brain damage or not. This is a really important thing to understand in context of chronic illness where we can get brain inflammation. Situations, for example, such as mold toxins in the brain and subsequent MRIs, such as the neuroquant MRI, can indeed show things like brain inflammation. As far as brain damage and anything that's permanent, here's what we know. Firstly, the nervous system has, and the brain's part of our nervous system, the nervous system has an amazing capacity to regenerate and repair. So the important thing to understand is the quicker and the less damage, say, we have, the better and easier it oftentimes is to repair. I personally believe and have seen incredible results with things like MRIs changing, improving throughout the disease recovery process. I've seen people heal and completely have perfectly normal, happy, functioning brain labs images. So from a standpoint of can damage happen from brain inflammation? Sure. From a situation of is it reversible? Absolutely. But here's the thing. We also see that there's a limited amount of research showing that the plaques that are created, for example, with Alzheimer's disease may have an immune type of impact, an immune type of capacity. Some researchers theorize that the plaques of Alzheimer's are actually being created in some situations to trap toxins and trap infections. But of course, as the plaques are created, there is this negative long-term impact that can happen with Alzheimer's. So my general philosophy, where I stand right now as a clinician, as a scientist, as well as a researcher with what I've read and seen in my clinical practice, is this. Yes, we can see brain damage. We can see things that's actually causing a dysfunction in the brain. The brain can swell, the brain can inflame, the brain can start to have changes. We can have death of our nerve cells in our brain. All of that's been studied. So we can see that. And the brain has an incredible capacity to repair. And with where we're at with our current research, there is a point where it does seem to be almost like this point of no return where there's so much damage that's been done that it's hard to reverse. Now there's some exciting studies coming that have been done on animals recently on things like light therapy and sound therapy to actually do things such as start to reverse things like plaques. So I personally believe with time and more research, we're going to see more different types of treatment come out that will show that we have an even more profound capacity to heal. And where we're at right now is there seems to be a point where it's very, very difficult to reverse, meaning as soon as we start finding changes in our brain, abnormalities, we want to figure out the why. We want to get to those root causes because the sooner we can find and reverse, the sooner we can heal. And I've seen those changes on an MRI return to normal. And I've seen cases where things are so far gone that medications, that supplements, that just there's not a treatment that seems to reverse things. So while I believe we will find more and more treatments as our amazing researchers continue to study the brain, right now where we're at is we want to take any sort of changes in the brain seriously as soon as possible and get to those root causes. So this is why I do the work I do. In May, coming up is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. We're going to go through Lyme and a bunch of other chronic reasons why the brain can inflame, why chronic illness happens, what you may be missing. So make sure you go to the show notes, take my quiz. In the quiz, you're going to learn about hidden root causes and things you may not have tested for, some common but not commonly tested for labs. So take my quiz so you can look at that. And then from there, we will make sure that you are informed about what is coming out next in Lyme Disease Awareness Month. We're going to have tons of promotional things. My book is being relaunched. I got my Audible done. So there's a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline, a lot of sales, a lot of promotions, and a lot of ways of getting you help and hopefully healing once and for all. So thank you for subscribing. I will see you in another video.